YouTube, what is up? CannibalPikachus here again, and today we are bringing you another deck profile, this time of Zing's actually. And let's just get right into the profile, get that started so you guys can see what I'm running. So first off, obviously, your main 3-of is going to be 3 Jiatu. That is pretty obvious. Jiatu is probably one of the best cards that Zing's have ever gotten. Regardless of the fact that he's also a tuner, it's the fact that he can special summon out of the deck. It helps speed the deck up a lot more, which is one of the problems I felt like the deck had originally. When it first came out, it required too much interaction on the part of the opponent really to really get the plays off. So Jiatu 3-of, obvious, probably one of the best cards in the deck, in my opinion. Since this is more of a pure Zing build, I still go with triple Suwani. Suwani's good. He's a 1900 beater, or he bumps your synchros up by 500, which is always good, especially if you can put it on like a Yazi or a Baxia or something, then it's just devastating. 2 Chiwen. Chiwen's only at 2 now that we have Jiatu. Jiatu's recyclable off of the path, so Chiwen does his job at 2 perfectly fine. And 2 Bixies. Bixie's one of my favorites, honestly, and if I had the ability to, I would most certainly try to put more Bixies in, just because I love immunity from traps, honestly. The immunity from traps is great. I couldn't really find the room for it in the deck, so this is just what we had to deal with. But Bixie's great, honestly, I love it, and that 2000 butt never hurt either, so. And then 2 Beyonds. Beyond, not destroyed by battle isn't as important anymore usually, but I like Beyond still just because, number 1, 1600 attack, that's not bad. He's an earth, another element for Baxias or Chow Fangs depending on whatever deck you're playing. And there's a fun little combo with him and Chiwen where you make a Herald of the Arclight that can't be destroyed by battle. And actually, Herald's actual effect is he's a macro for your opponent, and then that's that. So I really like Beyond at 2 still. And then I do run 2 Zephrinu, however you pronounce this guy's name. I'm usually very against running high level monsters in my deck that I can't just normal summon. I don't really like that because I feel like when you draw them, they are completely dead and they do pretty much nothing for you, to be honest. But I figured if I had, just to get some extra names and stuff in there for like extra synchros and stuff, I decided to do Zephrinu just because when he's normal or pendulum summoned or so pendulum summoned or destroyed, you add a Zing spell or trap, so lets you fish out your creation or your path basically, or like brutality if you want to be bad and like run those awful cards. But yeah, mainly he's there to search out path and to search out creation, and I prefer him over Towdy, honestly. Even though I know Towdy's not bad, the level 5 guy, I just prefer something that will get me a little more advantage, so to speak. And then 1 Zafraxi. He is good, at the same time he is not, because he can't target himself to make himself a tuner, otherwise that would actually just be too good. But Zafraxi is perfectly fine at 1, honestly. I don't even know if I want to run him at this, like, sometimes he shows up at a good time and then sometimes he just shows up at a bad time, so I have kind of a shaky relationship with him right now. But he himself does not have a bad effect at all to make another Zing a tuner for the turn, and that's great. So, and then 1 Pulau. Only need 1 Pulau. I know some people actually dropped Pulau out completely, but I want Pulau in there just in case for the weird matchups you'll get, so you can Chow Fang lock pretty much everybody if you need to, and immunity from spells sometimes is quite helpful, so you never know when that's going to come in handy. So that is the monsters. For spells, obvious 3-of, triple Zing path. That I don't even need to really explain that. It recycles and draws. You get like a pot of avers for Zings only. It's fantastic. Guaranteed 3-up, especially in a pure build. Still run 2 MSTs, like always. Don't like back row. Always feel much more comfortable with an MST in my deck, just in case those moments pop up. Then, double Dark Hole. This is one of the few decks that can still run Dark Hole without minusing themselves, because Dark Hole is fantastic in this deck. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, it doesn't hurt you at all. Like, especially if you have a creation out on board, like, you will actually plus off the Dark Hole, destroying your own shit, which is technically not supposed to happen, but it does. So, wipes out your opponent's field, hypothetically, if they don't stop it, and you get all your stuff. So, no downside to running double Dark Hole in the deck. Then, one Book of Moon. Book of Moon is obvious staple, just such a good card in general. And then one Soul Charge. Soul Charge is there because I have had those weird moments where like I just really run out of resources and I haven't been able to draw into a path or something yet. But it helps you get back in the game. And so I will always leave Soul Charge in your Union, even though I'm not that big of a fan of Soul Charge. And here it's actually quite good. So. And on for traps. This is actually a pretty heavy trap lineup. I built it more stun version I use. I seem to have a really habit of that. I just build a lot of like stun style decks, but I don't know if that could just be my play style. Triple Creation is obvious as well. This card, if the only complaint I have with this card is it locks out any sort of special summons from the extra deck except synchroing, but you know, I mean, small price to pay when you can just keep crapping out monsters provided they let creation stay on board. It's fantastic. It needs to be a 3-of, and like there's a lot of loopholes with this. Like in case some of you guys don't know, you can actually activate a face down creation in the damage step, which I don't actually understand that ruling completely still, but you are able to do it. So creation's always there for like a good surprise, and it helps you just spam out the deck to get to your big boss synchros faster. And one of the MVPs of this format, Triple Mistake. Mistake is really good in this deck. The only card you actually have that adds to hand would be Zephyr. And you can probably time Zephyr around the activations of your mistakes before that happens. So Mistake is just like, it's a fantastic floodgate this format that if you can mainboard it, you should, because it hits all the top decks. Necros, Satellar Knight, Burning Abyss, kind of, but they'll probably Fire Lake it right off, to be honest. And Shithouse obviously doesn't hurt, but hurts Necros, which is the big contender of this format. And then a lot of other decks, like even in your rogue matchups, will still search. So like, you know, Yosenju, Fire Fist, Medolce, Mistake says no to like all that searching, which they kind of need. So great card to run right now. Since it can be mained in here, I definitely will. Then I do run 2 Fiendish Chains, Monster Negation, or Monster Effect Negation, obviously, always important, so, and then 2 Skill Prisoners. Now, I run Skill Prisoners mainly because if there's one weakness this deck has and why it really makes me angry, it's the fact that it's just so vulnerable to monster effects. Like, you can pretty much give yourself like almost all your synchros, pure immunity from spells, traps, unable to being like change control, but like when a monster effect comes, if you don't have an answer for the monster effect, you're done. Like, you could have like the most like amazing Yazi out on board right now, and all they have to do is Castell it away, and it's like, well, that kind of sucks because he needs to be destroyed too, you know? So Skill Prisoners are there to try and protect my synchros. And sometimes I've actually used it to protect my mistakes, because for those of you that don't know, Skill Prisoner protects any card you control. So, like if they try and Castell away your mistake or something, you can Skill Prisoner that actually. So, help protect your floodgates or your creation should that need to happen. From monster effects only though, but that's why I have it in there, because this deck is extremely weak to opposing monster effects. And then only 1 Mirror Force, because I was running out of room. Mirror Force ain't as important in this deck. Like, if they run over your stuff, you usually don't care, because they'll just float more out of the deck. Even if your synchros die, you just float more out of the deck. So that's only there to, like, I guess those oh shit moments where you really need it. 1 Bottomless, stopping summons is always good. Solemn Warning for the same reason. Stopping summons is always good. Vanities, because stopping summons is always good. Why not? Torrential, kind of the same reasoning as Dark Hole, also stopping summons, which is good. And you plus off this, because it destroys all your own shit, and then you get to just float more out of the deck, and then doesn't hurt you at all. And then the final one is one skill drain, because you can still play around a skill drain quite easily. You have Bixies, so if there's synchro monsters you really want the effects to go off for, you just use Bixie. And when they enter, they'll still be actually unaffected by skill drain. So if you use a Bixie on your Baxia, Baxia enters the field unaffected by skill drain actually, and then he'll still get the effect of bounce while negating all your opponent's stuff. Skill drain's a very easy workaround in this deck, so I feel like it should still definitely have a spot in here, and especially since it's only at 1 now. Like it's easy to fit in, you know. And then those are all the traps. On to the extra deco. Alright, now as far as the extra deck though, guys, please keep in mind this extra deck is a little half-assed right now. Somehow I'm actually missing a few of my synchro cards and I can't find them, so you're going to see cards that shouldn't technically be in there, but I'm going to kind of tell you at least what they should be. So this should be a Herald of the Arclight. Like I said, somehow I can't find them right now, but Herald of the Arclight would be really good. This is supposed to be an Armades, and these are supposed to be a Goyo. So my 4, 5, and 6 are the ones I'm missing. Go figure. But Herald, Armades, and Goyo are what should definitely always be in a Yang Zing extra deck. Like I said, I can't seem to find them right now, so I'm just kind of like limping along with these replacements. And I don't really like them, to be honest, so as soon as I can find those cards, I will definitely be putting them in here. Now for the real synchros that are legitimately part of the main deck, one Clearwing, because Clearwing is extremely good at preventing monster effects. Effects that target level 5 or higher monsters, he can prevent them, and that's usually like one of the big problems with Yang Zings, is they were so weak to monster effects. Like, you know, if like your Baxia could just be completely blown away by one Castell, and I mean it takes a lot of resources to make a Baxia for Yang Zings, and not nearly as much resources for another deck to make a Castell. So Clearwing is definitely good there to help just protect your Yang Zing monsters, especially the synchros from monster effects. Then I run 2 Yazis. Yazis is great, basically a scrap dragon for the deck, and he can't be targeted, so he sits out there for a while. And then sometimes you just pull off like really fun combos with him, with all the different like Yang Zing combinations, because you can have him basically immune to spells and like 500 stronger if you use Chi-Wen, Pulao, and what's his face, Suwani, the level 4. And there's a lot of different little fun things you can do with him, but Gyazi's great, so a definite 2 of. You cannot run the deck without him in my opinion. And then 1 Black Rose Dragon, obviously. Black Rose is good because sometimes you just need reset buttons. And since this deck doesn't really have access to Exciton or something like that, Black Rose is your next best option. Then those are all the 7s. As for 8s, Angel Azera. I actually really do like Angel Azera. I think it's a lot of fun. It's pretty good in a Necros matchup, honestly, with just how much they're banishing like all their mirrors and whatnot. Angel Azera puts in some serious work, and I like him a lot. And he's like killer against like something like Ritual Beast, so he is definitely a good option. I like him a lot right now. And then 2 Baxia. That's kind of obvious. Spin things back to the deck. That's fantastic. Based and level 8, you can make a lot of different combinations with him, but Baxia is fantastic. He's obviously one of the boss monsters of the deck. You want him, so he's also a definite 2 of, because putting things back in the deck is very devastating at times, actually. And then Beals. Beals is the last level 8 I have, and he's fantastic in this deck. He's fantastic. With Giatu, if you open Giatu and 2 other Yang Zings, you can usually turn 1 him easily. And at that point, and you'd usually do it with Suwani and Bixie. So you have a Beals that is now unaffected by traps and also 500 stronger. And usually the only ways to get rid of Beals before was stuff like Deep Prison or Karma Cut, something that wouldn't destroy him, that'd banish him. But if he's immune to traps, then he's sitting out there for kind of a long time. Not many decks can really get around it unless, well, okay, no, I lied. Some decks can still get around it, unfortunately, and that's why I like the Clear Wing in here, because he can protect the Beals. Because sometimes it's really easy, like Cleaveports, they'll just tribute a carrier, and then your Beals is gone. Like Stellar Knights make a Trevor, your Beals is gone. Trishula, well, Clear Wing wouldn't help you with Trishula, because Trishula don't target, but yeah, Trishula would mess your day up. But for most of your rogue matchups, and he's usually a pretty safe turn 1 play too, if you have to go first, Beals is great, and I love him a lot. And then for level 9s, I run 2 Chao Feng. He is the new guy, obviously, and he is great. And I love him so much in this deck for the fact that just all the different elements, and there's so many different ways to make him. He's very versatile. You can make a Chao Feng lock for pretty much any deck that you play against. You can probably make an effective Chao Feng lock. So, and you don't just stop them from using monsters with those attributes from activating their effects. It stops you from whatever Yang Zing synchros you did. So if you use Bixie and Pulao, you know, they can't activate water monsters, they can't activate wind monsters, and he's unaffected by spells and traps. So he's not going anywhere for a while, and especially if you're like a douche and you put like a Beyond on under him too, so he can't be destroyed by battle, he's staying, and he ain't going away. And even if he does go away, you can grab any tuner from your deck. So, I mean, in this deck, it would only be Chi-Wen and Jiatu. But, I mean, it can see some versatility in other decks, too, I guess. But, and last 2, Leo. Leo's just kind of a wall. You know, he's there. A lot of big teeth and a big wall. So, he's not bad to have. And then, last one is a Star Eater. A lot of people don't actually, I would think, go up to 11 in a Yang Zing deck, but I just really like Star Eater. He's, I don't know why, he's just been one of my favorite synchros for a while. I really like Star Eater, so I will always attempt to make room for him in any of my synchro-based decks, because Star Eater is a baller, and that's about it. So that is the extra deck, guys. Like I said, excuse me for kind of like these 3 like jank cards that are not what they're supposed to be. I just couldn't find them. It's an unfortunate reality, but it happened. So that is my Yang Zing deck profile, guys. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. Like and subscribe like always, and peace out. I will see you guys later in the next episode.